we have a very distinguished gentleman amongst us who's very nicely convened to be our chief guest for today. He is the Commissioner of the Corporation of Panaji, as well as the Project Director for Rural Development. He is none other than Mr. Sanjit Rodrigues. And sir, can I kindly ask you to come up and give a few words to the audience? Thank you.
The convener and organizers of this summit, speakers who are lined up for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Today is one of the last topics of the convention, and it's on environment. Environment is particularly no one's baby, yet it's everyone's problem. And everyone talks about it, and not many people do something about it. Many people talk about it, but not many people understand the depth in which it should be understood. Lot of change is professed, but none is seen on ground. So a lot of talk in environment, which goes on at conferences, at seminars, at meetings, in boardrooms, has to translate into something which has to be done. Rhetoric has to give way to action. Talking to doing. And I think if at all we talk about the environment, it's good to know in what type of an environment we live in. Good to know what type of solutions are there for us to choose from. This is knowledge, and definitely when it is spanned across us, you need to imbibe this. But in many of these talks and meetings which we talk about, and I am part of as part of my job, I talk of something which is called the power of one. And I truly believe this power of one can make the change. And that power of one is you and no one else. That power of one is me, the individual, and no one else. And that has to be the focus of every talk, every conference, and every discussion we have on the environment. Because too much has been talked in a group. Too much has been talked in terms of parties, affiliations, groups, conventions. Nothing is talked about you, the person. Me, the person. Nothing is talked about change and sustainable change in thought, in perception, in attitude, in aptitude. Nobody talks about this concerned with the environment. And this change can be brought by this power of one that is you. Change in thought, change in perception, change in living, change in behavior, change in aptitude, change in attitude. How many of us would put our hands across our chests and say, we'll leave this door and I will change. And I will change not for me, I will change for the environment. This does not happen. Over the years, I've worked in waste management. And I've come across X number of people. Every day there are people across the desk giving solutions. They get technologies across the world and they present before you. There are technologies which say, and people have the audacity to come to you and say that you give me waste in 24 hours, I'll make compost. You give me waste and in 5 minutes, I'll burn it. You give me waste and there'll be no order. And you give me waste and there'll be no smell. Come on, if it was so simple, why is it not done? And these people have the audacity to come, to cheat, to fool, and to thrive on our susceptibility, on our ignorance, and this individual, nonchalant, no change, block attitude of ours. And all of us are to blame. And it's not the government, and it's not the NGOs, and it's not the environmentalists. Each one has a finger in this pie. And we went to bring about change in this small city of Panjim. And we thought we could talk to people like you and me. And a lot of talk was done. This was 10 years, 15 years ago. And there were people like you and me who listened, who promised, and ultimately did nothing in terms of segregation, in terms of waste management. Then we thought, okay, these people, they were presidents of societies and clubs and everything. They could come, they made fancy presentation, tall promises, but did nothing on ground, nothing in their own homes. And then we thought, okay, let's go to students. And we thought, okay, these college students, they would be, they have been part of the educational system for the past 15 years and they would change. They would bring a susceptible and perception change within the society. And we worked with them for 3 years. Believe you, we failed. There was no change. They laughed it off. And then we said, okay, they are footloose and fancy free. That's the generation. Let's go lower. And we went to, say, standard 11th and 12th. We failed again. We went to standard 8th, 9th, 10th. We thought they would do. We failed again. Today, I rarely talk to audiences like this. I rarely talk. Water on duck's back. Because we are set in our minds. We will not change. I dare you to change today. Today we talk to standard 1 to standard 4. We don't even touch standard 5. And if Panjim is segregating today is because we have consistently talked to standard 1 and standard 4 in all 10 schools of Panjim for the past 15 years. And even if the municipality does not collect waste, and if you see waste is strewn around the place and it is not managed, it is because of people like you and me who run the municipality and not because of these people, because they religiously segregate in Panjim today. And they segregate because this generation has grown and they have taught their mothers and fathers, uncles and aunts, grandmoms and grandpops, and they have taught the women who comes and wash their utensils, and they all segregate. I'll take you to the lowest slum, to the highest bungalow, and they will segregate. The fault lies with a generation who are sitting with a block in their heads. And that is change. And if we have to change the environment we live in, we have to be able to bring this change in every single mind. And the sooner it comes, and the faster it comes, it will bring the change which you who are sitting here are looking for. I would not like to waste time. I've been selfish enough and I want to hear Claude too. I would wind up here wishing you the very best for attending this. And I would wish each one of you this power of one. The power to bring about the change you would like to see within you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjit Rodrigues. This has got to be one of the most beautiful perspectives I've ever seen from a gentleman such as yourself. And you're absolutely right, we need to change. If we are going to introduce anything into this world, if we are going to see some change, We need to bring the change within us. And more importantly, I like what you said, we need to walk the talk. So Mr. Sanjit Rodrigues, thank you so much for that very wonderful insight.